here's just few hints about fractions. So fractions in a nutshell, reducing fractions, that's the first thing you should know. And always you'll be reducing fractions, simplify and go to the next step, even when we get to multiplying, dividing, adding, subtracting. So if you have 3 over 12, you know you could divide top and bottom here by 3. So you should divide this by 3 and you get 1, and you divide this by 3 and you get 4. So this is reduced to 1/4. You have 15 over 25, you look at a number, or you look for a number that 15 and 25 divide by. So I know the common factor that both of these divide by is the 5. So I divide 15 by 5, it gives me 3, and then 5 goes into 25 5 times. So this answer is 3 over 5. So this is reducing fractions. And that is very important. You always want to reduce fractions before even going to the next step when you're doing other operations besides just reducing fractions. So here we have 20 over 27 times 12 over 50. So usually we look to reduce diagonally if we can, this way and this way. Now, the 20 and the 50, you know, when these two numbers have zeros, both of them at the end, you could just cancel the 0 right away from here and here. It's like dividing both of these by 10. Okay, and now if you look this way, I know 3 goes into 12 and 3 goes into 27, 3 goes into 12 4 times, and 3 goes into 27 9 times. So now if I look within or I look diagonally, I cannot reduce anymore. Now we just multiply tops. 2 times 4 is 8, and 9 times 5 is 45, and that's what we get. Okay, now how about this one here? Multiplying, when you're multiplying a whole number times a fraction, all you need to do is just reduce this and this. So the whole number and the bottom of the fraction, you could reduce both of them. You could write a 1 on top of the on the bottom of 21 if that helps you, but you don't really need to. I don't. So now I look at the 21 and 7. I know 7 goes into itself once, and 7 goes into 21 3 times. Now we have 3 times 2 on top, gives me 6. I have 1 on the bottom. I don't even have to write 1 on the bottom. Okay. How about when you're dividing? Definitely you want to change division to multiplication and flip the divisor. But look, remember we said at the beginning that if you could reduce, do that right away. And I know 15 and 25, I could reduce this to, if 5 goes into 15 3 times, 5 goes into 25 4 times. So this gives me 3/4 divided by 3/4. You don't even have to do the keep, switch to multiplication and flip, because you know when you divide something by itself, it's just going to give you 1. Okay, dividing 3/4 by 3/4 is going to give you 1. Or you just go 3/4 times, you flip this 4 over 3, then you know you're going to reduce this with this, and you get 1 1, and you reduce this with this, you get 1 1, and therefore 1 times 1 on top is 1, 1 times 1 on the bottom is 1. But when there's a 1 on the bottom, you don't bother writing it. How about 4 over 9 divided by 16? Now here, I advise you to put a 1 over the 16. Now you change this to 4 over 9 times, flip this 1 over 16, and now I could reduce diagonally. 4 goes into itself once, it goes into 16 4 times. We have 1 on times 1 on top, and we have 9 times 4 on the bottom, which gives me 36. Let's go to adding and subtracting, and that's the last thing we will do. Now again, my advice to you, always when you could reduce fractions, reduce, because it'll make your life much easier. I know 3 goes into 9 3 times, it goes into 30 10 times. Now basically we have 1 over 10 plus 1 over 5. And now I do a common denominator. The common denominator between 10 and 5, don't write 50, because that's the worst thing you could do. Don't take shortcuts. You know, lots of videos on YouTube, they show you how to take shortcuts, do the butterfly method, do this, do that, multiply this here, multiply this here. Not the best. I mean, yes, you could get away with that, but as you get further into math in high school, then you're gonna run into problems using all these shortcuts. So my advice to you, when you multiply, adding fractions, you look at the biggest number on the bottom, so the denominator that's bigger, which is the 10, and then see if the other denominator goes into 10. Yes, 5 goes into 10, so therefore 10 would be your lowest common denominator. So it's the larger number of the smaller number goes into it, then that would be your lowest common denominator. Little thing I do with adding fractions here, I don't multiply this by 1 and multiply this by 2 and multiply now. For me, I just go 10 divided by 10, that gives me 1. That's what I multiply the top by, so 1 times 1 would give me 1. And then I have my plus sign, and then I go 10 divided by 5, that gives me 2. That's what I multiply the top by. So that gives me 2 on top, and therefore it's 3 over 10. Big advice, try to use this method. When you get to grade 11 and 12, you'll know why I highly recommend this method. Okay, now how about here? Here, 3 over 4 minus 3 over 10. Now we look at the biggest number on the bottom, the denominator. Does 4 go into 10 evenly? No, it doesn't. So now after that, you go to the 10 and you do the next multiple of 10, which is 20. Does 4 go into 20 evenly? Yes. So therefore, my lowest common denominator, 20. I know most of you in North America, you're not used to do adding or subtracting fraction the way I'm doing them right now. But all you need to do is go 20 divided by 4 is 3. So that's, sorry, 20 divided by 4 is 5. So that's what you need to multiply the top by, 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Write your minus sign right here. And then you go 20 divided by 10 is 2. That's what you need to multiply the top by. So 3 times 2 is 6. Now 15 minus 6 is 9. And the final answer is 9 over 20. So I'm going to leave it right here today. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Hit that like button, comment if you like, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. I will see you later. Bye-bye.